Oh, friends, good evening. I hope you are doing well. Once again, allow me to welcome you to our weekly market forecast, our weekly market analysis, where we look into deep digging of US30, NASDAQ, and gold. We're just going to be analyzing these markets together, and then these are going to be my approach or views looking at the last week of May. Let's see what May has for us. Let's remove. My name is Prophet Bonang, founder and leader at Bonang Financial Institute, where we offer lifetime mentorship. We teach, educate, and mentor traders from various aspects of life. Dear friends, if you are new in this YouTube channel, you just came across this video, I would appreciate and I would love to see you being part of this community. What you should do me a favor, click that subscribe button, hit that like button, and leave a comment. Thank you so much. All right, let's quickly jump into the markets themselves. Last week, we saw a number of pushes all the way up. The markets were pushing all the way up, especially on the US30, targeting almost all-time high prices. That's what these markets were doing. So on Friday, while we were live on stream, I did speak about the selling zone being triggered, and we see right in front of us right now that this trade slept in good position. That means there was a bit of a drawdown, but the market went back down on our entry. Nevertheless, the market closed a bit bullish, so this may mean the market may be moving from a mark of 50,000. Next stop could be the 51,000 mark right there. Nevertheless, this can be unpredictable. We want to see how these markets are going to be like. Well, on all-time highs, my approach has always been I cannot buy, I would rather sell. So at the end of the day, this market might decline and sell further downside. Looking at the fact that we have got some unfulfilled levels, such as 49,000. We have got an unfulfilled level of 49,000 as a key zone. 49,701. Price might want to revisit that. Price might want to even further revisit prices such as somewhere 49,240. This level here could be still revisited, and final destination of that tanking or sell could literally be 49,446. So from 50,000, the market can still or could still decline back to a number of 49,000. I hope this makes sense. The market, according to what I see, it could dump, targeting the level of 50,013, break below it, target the level of 49,701, and price still dump, targeting 49,240, and finally price could still rest at the levels of 49,046, roughly around 49,000 there, and market could still then bounce back from this relevant level. Now, if this price, remember what I have always said, or what I understand is, for market to continue rallying up, we need some momentum. Or even you throwing a stone, you stretch yourself first. For a stone to go far, you stretch your hand back and then shoot, throw the stone. That's how powerful that could be. So for an all-time high price to be broken, we want to see the market gaining some momentum, simple by having some pressure decline and then rally at a later stage. So London session should or could be opening on a Asian. London could decline, and then New York session on a Monday could then rally all the way up from these levels and breaking the level of where we made a U-turn around 50,670, pushing all the way to 51,000 right there. This is a scenario that is a possibility, right? Looking at the market again, the market could still look for areas such as, since we closed bullish, the market might still look for areas such as bouncing from where it broke the structure, such as this area. The market could just dump a little bit and then push back up without going down. So 50,386 there could be a strong level that just needs to be retested, and then the market bounces back up, right? So if this market dumps, since it's a month end, failing to push all the way all-time highs, that means the market might continue going down and down and down and down, right? So we shall see how these markets are. Since we are bullish, we might literally find 51,400 being hit there. That's the mark that we projected in on the month of around February, 51,302. If you check, that was the buy TP. It has not been hit as of yet, so market might be going right there. So there are two possible scenarios. We just have to see how these markets are going to open up. Like, they closed bullish on US30, and therefore this market could still continue going up and up, right? So that's what I can say about these markets. This is on US30, but then allow me to remove all these levels right now so that we can have a clean and a clearer chart. And I'll also switch off our BFI trading, BFI mathematics indicator. Then we'll just go to a monthly time frame and look into something. So the monthly time frame, we saw that monthly time frame, the monthly candle pushing through this area here. If you check this area here, that's an all-time high price that was already there. So we have a new record of an all-time high. So the market could be now at a rally all the way up. So looking at how the market is, if you still recall, since you might be new here, so this is what I have seen or what I have observed looking at the US30 markets. We are seeing a very, very bullish momentum throughout, and this bullish momentum has been so very bullish for a very long time. From areas of 2016, that's when we started to take off, and the market pushed all the way up. We started from almost 14,000, 16,000 mark, 17,000 mark there. The market is sitting at 50,561. That's a very strong bullish market, right? So we took off there. When we took off, that was a broken breakout of broken structure. So the market broke out in those areas somewhere here, if you can check that. So the market continued going up without a resistance. Then the market created a resistance in the areas of around 27,000, 26,000 there. That's where we saw this market creating this area as a resistance. What did the market do? The market then dumped from this area, pushing all the way back to 18,000. Tapping 18,000, the market pushed back up and broke out this area of interest. Now the market rallied all the way up and then started to create another resistance, right, in the areas of around 38,000. So that market creating those kind of areas, 36, 37,000 there. We saw the market playing around that area. Now that became a resistance. We see it here becoming a resistance. The market now had to revisit a former broken structure. So that's break of structure, revisit, rally, break of structure again. The market, because on a monthly time frame, doesn't really waste time. Once it revisits that area of resistance, pushes up strength with strong momentum, and then we see the market creating another resistance as well right there. You see that market created another resistance as well there. We see it there, and then the market had to revisit this former or previous broken structure in 2023, and then 2025 around February, April there, the market then tapped this area and then rallied all the way up, broke out, and then we saw the market pushing, and then we saw a resistance. Currently, that's where we are literally sitting. We're sitting on a resistance. So this resistance could be another new support as expected. So what we'll do, so looking at the structure and how the market has been going, you could see that it pushes and breaks a structure, revisits a structure that was broken and strengthens it, breaks the one that was a resistance, now new support, right? Former resistance become a new support, former resistance become a new support, former resistance become a new support. That's basically what we are seeing these markets doing, right? And then looking at the market, and the market itself right now is exactly expected to behave the same way as it is. But with the look of the market, if we check here, this was almost 4 months or to 5 months of sideways, if we are not if I'm not mistaken. If we are to check here, 4 months to 5 months of sideways, and then the market then pushes up, pushes down before pushing up. So we can see here that the market never became sideways. It just declined and then pushes up, and then it's a new market condition altogether in the year 2026. This could be a scenario where the market would just want to be sideways in this area, right? So expectations of a breakout should not be so much high. This is what I can say. So for me, looking for sales in these kind of areas would look very much great for me, scalping towards my relevant levels. So on this monthly candle, I'll just be waiting. I'll be looking for at least a retracement of the low of that candle. You see, this candle has got a low somewhere this area, that is 48,000, like I mentioned on H1. So this market could still literally revisit this low, and then I can look for buys in this area, right? And then the market will be expected to rally up, and we are left with only a week or so, to week and a day or so, to break out or to decide on a new candle. A new candle could still open like that and push then up with high momentum, or open like that, come bearish to all the way areas of 49,000. As I mentioned, the mark of 49,000 is key and important in this area. You can see that's a very, very, very key area right there, right? It's a very, very key area. So that resistance is not a strong one. Nevertheless, we want to see the market revisiting the support to at least strengthen the rally up all the way. This could be the scenario on US30. I will be looking for sales myself, scalping sell day in, day out. So I would remember, the market literally determines the day movement. So if a day is bullish, I'll look for small bullish. If a day is bearish, I'll also look for small bearish trades. That's why we have a BFI mathematics indicator. The mathematics indicator literally fetches daily data, and that daily data is exactly what we work on. By looking at H1 here, you can see that there is a relevant area that needs to be revisited, grabbing the liquidity, and then we can then push back up. That's why on a Friday, I looked for sales. Then those sales are currently on hold and they're in profits. You understand? Break even though, waiting for the market to open. Could open bullish, temporarily bullish, and don't let this market trap you by jumping in late. Like usually most traders, what they do, all-time highs, now we're on all-time highs, let's jump in, buys. My friend, you are in danger if you do that. I'm telling you, you would rather in this position right now. There is no guarantee if this market is going to continue pushing up. Right, the street of Hormuz is street Hormuzing. You understand? The street of Hormuz is Hormuzing. So you can be Hormuzed, your account can be Hormuzed, anything can be Hormuzed right now. So jumping in blindly, that's what we call late buyers. There is what we call late buyers. Thank God who gave us wisdom. We have been holding these buys. If you still watch into our streams, somewhere here, that's where we took these buys. We have been holding them. We are not late buyers. And then there's a late guy who has been waiting for that thing there to say, now I'm going to jump in. You don't do that, my friend. You wait for the market to revisit certain relevant areas and then you go back up. Otherwise, you will be sliced like a chicken before arrival, marinated. You understand what I mean? This is all I can say. So for me, with my approach, I don't buy, I wait for pullback, or I go for sales looking for that pullback. I have relevant levels that I'll be targeting. Like I have mentioned, the area of 49,000 is very key for me. If I'm to buy further for long term, I can literally look for buy around 49,000 and I will be expecting a breakout on all-time high price, and then this market can continue going up. No kululu, no kalala. Nevertheless, thank you so much for joining me. We shall see how these markets are like as we open on Monday, and then during New York session we shall see also how these markets are like. Nevertheless, listen to me very well and listen to me in a very, very important manner. These markets are limited because of the holiday. So there's a bit of trading holiday, short-term holiday on Monday. So for me, I won't be on stream. So I'll only meet you guys on London session on a Tuesday, right? Rather, for now, I wait and see how these markets are going to be like moving forward in on Monday. I hope this makes sense. You understand? All right, jumping into into NASDAQ. Jumping into NASDAQ. Similar situation with NASDAQ. Well, NASDAQ is pushed, if we are being honest. If I'm being honest with you, NASDAQ has pushed almost all-time highs, and there's a bit of a resistance on all-time highs. And for me, I would still advise, or I would look into this scenario here, that this year is my selling zone. If I'm to check, this has been my selling zone for a very, very long time, right? I'm not expecting this market to go beyond this level. I'm expecting it to decline, literally decline. Now, let's switch on our indicator just to mathematically track this market. We can all see we have a buy TP 29,776 there. That's the area of interest that I can start to sell from. 30,000, 29,900 there could be a very perfect area for sell entries. I'll be looking for further downside movement. There's a bit of good liquidity on the downside. We have levels such as level of 29,040. We have a level of 28,818. We also have a level of 28,643. For me, at this point, these are strong levels that needs to be revisited. Other than the upper side, there is no guarantee. Nobody knows where this thing is going. Nobody knows how far this thing goes. Apart from the mathematics method that we had on the 21st, we had data printing this TP. So market might make a U-turn around that zone. 29,900. That's the area that there could be wicks in this area, so that area should turn into a selling zone. 29,900 up to 30,000. We sell from there for long term. Now, if we just switch off these levels and then we remove our drawings, don't worry. Now we have removed our drawings. This is an all-time high level, right? So you can see even the behavior of the market around that area. So this area was very perfect for sales, looking good for sales, right? Meanwhile, there is a person who is trapped by the market, who allows this market to let him say, no, it's time for us to go up now. We're going to sell and to buy. Then boom, all of a sudden they slept on a drawdown. So that's why I usually on all-time high price, I do not go for buys. I would rather look for sells and then buy later. So this market should sell at least to buy later. I hope this is clear. There is a bit of interesting areas or liquidity areas down all the way to 28,600, 28,500. We can be looking for buys in those areas. Now that's on a long-term entry, right? Looking at the monthly candle, wow, this thing has been ripping off the structure like nobody's else business. So what does this mean? It means there could be a possibility that from 31,000, 28,000, 29,000, where the price is currently sitting, the market might just dump a little bit down and then push back up, right? This is what I can say. Same situation, the market broke those areas. I just love the way NASDAQ broke these areas. And then we would look into something that is very interesting here. Same situation the market has been doing. If you watched the US30 market analysis, I think this is almost the same thing that I'm doing here with you guys. So you must be having an idea of exactly what I'm doing, and what I was looking for is exactly what I saw, right? We saw the market doing the same thing, breaks out. It happened a long time ago, around 2019, push up, then resisted, push up, break out. So we saw that pattern happening, resisted, revisited the former previous broken structure, goes up, breaks the structure that is broken becomes a new support, revisits, and then rallies, breaks. So that's what gives us confidence that we're going to break this area. It broke, and that's exactly what we saw. Very, very, very massive and good. Now, at this point, this market is already on a rally. The market pushed with serious strength. Now, this is a new support around 26,000 there. That's a new support. This does not mean this market might not go back. You understand? So the market, even on this candle here, it can still close bearish as you see it like that. That's why buying here is called late comers. You are a late comer and you could be brutalized like nobody's else business. Taking a trade there, my friend, you should be a market maker. I'm telling you, it's not favorable to buy at this point. Looking at this risk reward ratio is not favorable. The stop loss here should be as low as far as 22,000. Think about it. Look at that. So the question is, which price are you buying to? Rather sell. Rather look for sell, looking for at least a retracement at this kind of point. If you didn't take these buys, look for retracement back into the broken structure, or at least the low of that the low of the May candle. Do you get my point? That is around 27,446. This is what this market might do. It might sell, or even half of it. That's a lot of momentum. Let me mark the half of this candle if we were to check very well how much far this candle pushed. This candle pushed almost 2,000 points. So 1,000 points should be our target at this point if we are selling. 1,000 points should be our target at this point if we are selling, right? Let's divide it by 2. That's the mathematics that we're talking about. That's the mathematics that we're talking about. At least half of this candle, that's the retracement that we will be looking for. 1,012 there. At least if we go to H1, we mark this level. We want to see the half of this candle, how it's going to behave on H1. On a lower time frame, we expect this market to revisit at least 50% of the momentum that happened. Look at that. Right, there we go. There we go. Let's do it this way. You will see something very, very amazing. Let me remove this. Do not be the late guy. Right, look at this. Now, that's the half of the candle and exactly at the level that I marked during this analysis, if you check very well. So almost right 28,607. That's where this market is going. If we stretch it a little bit for the sake of the weeks and so forth, you see, that's where this market is going. 28,443 could be our next target, is if we are looking for retracement, and the market could still tank further down all the way to the low of the candle. And what is the low of the candle? 27,400, my friend. Better to sell than to buy. Now let's switch on the mathematical levels again. If we switch on the mathematical levels again, we'll see something amazing. Look at that. Very, very amazing. These are the sales that we have been looking for throughout the week. Basically, it left us some good liquidity around 28,000 previous close of the 21st. That is 28,818. Then we have another key zone, which is 29,040. Look at that. We also have our sell TP on the 20th of this month. We see it right there, 28,643. That's where this market is going, between 28,565 and this area of interest there. Should be looking for that. We are targeting this area by fire, by force. That's almost half of the push of that candle, retracement of that candle. That candle should not continue pushing up like that, because we are almost running towards the end of the month. No kululu, no kalala. So I could have just looked for sales. And unfortunately, the data on Friday was not good, so it caused me not to look much interested in this guy. I was like, you know what? I am not going to be... Sorry about that. I am not going to be at any point trying to trade these markets, no matter what. So that's a missed call. And look at that dip in was a massive one. So on a Monday, how do we then approach this market? On a Monday, we are selling in the areas of 29,776 there. If we can reach that area for sales, that could be perfect for us. Do not buy. Do not allow a trap here. This thing will cause you to buy and then boom, take your money eventually, right? That's what I can say. We are looking for buys around 29,700 and we are looking for buys around 29,776 right there. Okay, my friends, I have received different numerous questions concerning the indicator, BFI mathematics indicator. Unfortunately, this indicator is not available to the public. The indicator is only available to those that have joined the lifetime mentorship of Bonang Financial Institute, because what we teach you is exactly what the indicator does. So what you do manually, you are just automating it. It's also available at an extra cost of a price if you are part of the mentorship. If you are a public guy who is just randomly looking for different kind of strategies, unfortunately, this indicator is not available for you. You want to be taught, trained, and understand the mechanism of this indicator in order for you to have it. You become the indicator yourself. You understand? That's basically how we approach that issue. So the answer is no. Thank you. Jumping into gold. All right, gold on Friday, we looked for buys. So unfortunately, the buys, usually we use 1,000 points as a deactivation of that signal. So the signal was deactivated. Unfortunately, I said the market might, these lines that you are seeing right as a red, market might go back aggressively there and revisit this area for buys. Revisit, like we expected the market to come back here, and then we start to look for buys. Now, for me, the distance between this and the retracement is already deactivating the entire market structure. I cannot buy anymore. It took so much time above me there. So to buy here was no longer an idea or an option, right? So what do I do in this kind of a situation? The only thing that I'm going to be doing right now on gold is to look into gold in a very, very deeper way and look into where will I be buying from. Nevertheless, I'll be looking for buys even on the next week. So let me make sure that I make that clear. I'll be looking for buys again. But these buys, they didn't play out very well. I was just expecting this thing to just rip, stay away from that level. That was around 4,507, which was a very good area of interest, right? If you go back here, you will see that this is exactly what happened. The market aggressively went in and then boom, pushed all the way up, hit our TP. Successful buys right there on gold, right? And then we see that this one didn't play out, but we will see how these markets are going to be like as we push this week, right? So what we have with us here is an area of interest that we're going to be looking into right now. Hello, my dear friends. What you are watching is the weekly market analysis where we forecast the market for the week, right? This is the last week of May, and what you want to do is click that subscribe button, click that like button, and leave a comment below. You understand? Other than that, I am also offering you a lifetime mentorship membership that we are selling, right? If you visit www.bonangfinance.co.za, you are going to be trained and taught how to approach these three instruments: US30, NASDAQ, and gold. We don't do anything else apart from these instruments, right? Thank you, my dear friends, for joining me and for sticking until the video has reached this point. That is very much interesting. All right, my dear friends, so this here is my area of interest. I'll be buying around 4,075, right? 4,475.955. Could be just a round number, but the maths is saying we need to look into this. So basically, this is our buy entry, right? Right there. That's where we'll be buying from. So we'll be buying from 44,700. What am I even saying? Nevertheless, guys, I will be buying from the area of 4,475. 4,705. You must meditate. What are you doing? Huh? All right, guys, so I'm expecting the price to dump from where it is at, coming to 3,405 right there, but I cannot enter from anywhere, so I don't have an entry criteria for myself right there. So what I'm going to be doing right now is to then look into the 3,000 points from my entry. So that is around that zone there. So if I check, it is 4,506. 4,506 is where I will be looking for. Let me do this. We are doing the calculations together, right? So I'll be looking for something like this here on gold, 4,005 or 6.955. You see that? That's exactly what I will be. Oh, see, I'm losing focus. What is that? Is that not a spiritual attack? Looks like a spiritual attack, guys. Right, let's look into it very well like this. That's it, right? So this is exactly where I will be looking for at least the sell entry. Other than that, if this market does not dump at that point, then I'm not going to be looking for anything. So I'll be selling around 4,506, targeting the area of this here. So provided this market does not dump or open with a gap downside on a Monday, then it means then I'll be looking for sales, looking for this area. So I'm selling to buy. You understand? I am selling at 4,506 to buy at 4,475. So that's how this market should be like on my side on a Monday. So if we open with a gap and hit this level with strength, then I'll be buying. I will be expecting this market to dump or stay away aggressively from this area of interest, right? Right here, I'm waiting with my spear, right? Shooting spear there. We're not gonna play here. You understand? So I'll be waiting for this market to reach this level, and then we aggressively push all the way up. My stop loss is still going to be 1,000 points from this entry. That's it. We don't want to stay too long. If this price reaches around that area, then it means my buy has already been deactivated, right? So I want an aggressive entry in this point, and then I enjoy myself, simple as that. So around this area of 4,466, that's the area of interest where I shall be buying from and targeting this area. I'll be selling from there to buy from there. That's how I will be like in these markets. That's a 5 minutes candle. Let's look into H1. How is H1 projected? How is the H1 time frame like on gold, right? It looks very much interesting. We have got so many buying zones that are projected on the lower side. So this market could be still lower all the way to 4,454. That's where these markets could still be going this coming week, right? So it's I think for me it's a good area. If we mark this here is a very good area of interest. So we would see the market now framing what we call a zone below here. So it's looking very interesting. So nevertheless, we shall see what these markets have for us on a Monday. If these markets open with a strong gap, I will buy there and then sell again. This looks very interesting. I mean, if we buy from 4,000 there, this market will be like this. If we buy from this area here, Jesus Christ, why so many stuff, right? 4,475 there. If we buy from there, this is what could be the next stop. Buy, sell. So very much interesting, isn't it? So basically that's what I can say about gold. So we are going to be working on a zone of 4,506 and 4,475 right there. Those are my zones for this coming week. So this market is still expected to decline further and could be a trap for sellers. If you sell there, also you could be trapped. So you would rather wait for confirmations if we are breaking these areas. They look to be a strong areas, and we are seeing aggressive rejections in those areas. So there could be a trap if you sell and then you are like, hey, what happened right there? So you'd rather wait. If the market pushes all the way back up, we are going to the areas of such as 4,605. Then we sell from there. That could be more safer to sell from there. I mean, this looks like a low, right? So selling from low could be very deadly and dangerous. So you rather wait, the market reaches a high of 4,605 and then boom, all the way down again, right? This gold could move even 1,000 points per day, 9,000, no, 10,000 points per day. That's what I can tell you. That's the secret I have for you. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for joining me. We shall see. We'll be working around levels of 4,506 depending on the market. If this market wants to buy from there, then I'm not jumping in at all. This could be a trap, right? If this market wants to sell from there, I'll wait for a confirmation and then I can look for sales targeting the areas of 44,000, 4,475. If we break on a Monday, we open with a gap sitting here. I'm buying straight back to 4,506 for a sell back to areas of 4,405. Other than that, thank you so much for watching this video. It could be nice, could be not nice, but this is for information, education only, right? Make sure you do not take this as a signal of buy and sell. You want to make your own research based on your own understanding, right? We are not responsible for any losses or any profits that shall be made out of these analysis. That's the disclaimer. Bonang Financial Institute, BFI TV, provides educational content only for purposes of knowledge and understanding and proper approach of these markets. Other than that, thank you so much. I cannot wait to see you at Bonang Financial Institute as we learn this approach quick, all of us together. Right, thank you. My friend, don't forget, once again, I should remind you, don't forget to thank me by leaving a subscription button so that next time again we do these kind of videos, you see them. And next time again we are live, you also see them. Thank you so much. From me to you, I love you all with the love of Christ. I will leave you in the presence of the Almighty God, expecting to meet you again in the presence of the Almighty God. Bye-bye.